Hello everyone, and Ramadan Kareem to all of my bookish Muslim friends around the world. In my dialect we say Mubarak alaykum al-shahr, which basically translates to blessed Ramadan to you all. So for today's video I'll be reviewing the Sands of Arawiya duology by the author Hafsah Faizal, who is of Sri Lankan and Arab descent. This is the first time I've ever read anything by Hafsah, and I was actually really impressed. I kind of regretted not reading this earlier, but later is better than never. The first book of the duology was We Hunt the Flame, and look at this gorgeous cover. As you can see, I annotated a lot because I loved a lot of quotes in this book. I actually preferred this book more than the second book quote-wise, because like in this book there were a lot more quotes that I loved, but that does not mean that I loved the second book any less. The second book in the duology was We Free the Stars, and look at the gorgeous cover once again. This book was longer than the first book. This was like 500 plus pages, and the other one I believe was like 400 plus pages. This was a thick one, and rightfully so, because like the finale was in this. At the beginning of the video I mentioned the name of the series, Sands of Arawiya, and it is exactly where the adventure takes place. Long ago, in a magical kingdom that consists of 5 Khalifas, Sarasin, Aldrin, Dimenhur, Zaramsi, and Pelusia, and also Sultan's Keep if you like counted as a Khalifa. Magic, as I said, existed, and who ruled over these Khalifas were the sisters of old. Like each Khalifa had a sister of old ruling it, and they were of the Sila blood, which is very rare and very magical. In each Khalifa there was a minarat that contained a heart of each sister of old. Now all of these sisters ruled with kindness and power. There was also a 6th sister who ruled over an island called Shar. She was basically a warden there, where like all of the bad creatures were sent to and kept there so that the peace of Arawiya will remain in place. There was this creature that goes by the line of the night. He was trapped on Shar. To try to waltz his way out of it, he tried to tempt the warden of the island, and he actually succeeded. This creature trying to get loose, all of the sisters of old rushed to the island of Shar, tried to stop him, and they actually succeeded, but with a price. They lost their lives. They actually trapped him in the island of Shar. With that, magic disappeared from Arawiya. Years later, in the Khalifa of Dimenhur, where a huntress hunted in the Arz, which was like a really evil forest of Arz. No one could ever venture into there but this hunter or huntress, who lived a double life as a girl and then the hunter like as a man. No one really knew her identity but her close relatives, her sister Lana, her best friend Yasmin, and her brother Dean. One day, while the huntress Zafira bint Iskandar was roaming around the Arz, she encountered a witch where she told her about the island of Shar, and that inside that island lies a magical book called the Jawarat, which can restore magic to Arawiya once more if she actually went there and fetched that book. Which sounded like a crazy idea because no one has ever went to Shar and lived to tell the tale basically. So Zafira exited the forest and headed on to her best friend's wedding, while she still contemplated the idea of actually going to Shar and going on this crazy mission just to restore magic. When this fact was revealed to her best friend and also her best friend's brother, Dean, he actually tried to stop her, and he kind of professed his love to her and asked her to marry him. Zafira was very adamant on leaving and going to Shar to restore magic. She lost her father, her mother wasn't really sane, and she only had her sister, and like the Arz was eating up the land, and it was coming closer and closer until maybe one day it would actually devour her village and maybe the whole of Demenhur. So she had no other choice. Moving on to Sultan's Keep, where the Sultan lived with the Crown Prince. The Sultan was actually a very ruthless man who just killed whoever that opposed him and used his son as a pawn in his games. He just basically did not treat him like a son. He treated him like an animal. He actually called him a mutt. Nasr would actually do everything that his father would command, or else he would face serious consequences. The Sultan hears word of the witch and this magical book and the adventure to Shar. He actually asks his son and his general Altair to venture on to this adventure, kill off the Huntress, and he actually asked Nasr to kill off Altair as well, and just fetch the book and bring it back to him. Of course, the son did as his father asked and took Altair with him, who is such a character once you get to know him in the books. Both sides ventured on to Shar. Now, of course, Zafira took Dean with her because he actually volunteered to go. They just went to this scary, creepy place to restore magic. And on the way, they met two more characters, Benyamin and Kifah, and they played a huge role in the adventure on Shar. This is basically the synopsis of the first book. The second book picks up from where they left off on Shar, and a lot of revelations happen in this book, and a lot of emotions will pour out of you once you finish it, because it was just an adventure. As you all know, I do not like spoiling books, so I will not be disclosing any details or any scenes in the books. My favorite in the entire book series was definitely Altair al-Badawi, which is basically saying that he is a nomad with no family background, but boy, are we discovering a lot about him in the second book. Actually, no, like maybe at the ending of the first book, but like the second book really just tells you everything about this unique character. I just thought that he was really fun to read. Every adventure book needs a character like Altair. That's how I feel about it. He's just sarcastic, witty, serious when needed, but overall a very wholesome character that I really got attached to, and I just kept praying that the author doesn't kill him off. I'm very happy about his ending. I'm very happy about his character development. Overall, he's my favorite character. Not saying that like the protagonist, Fira, wasn't a great character, because like all of the characters were actually really cool. Even like Nasr was like an amazing character. I really liked his development as well. Like from like the first book, I honestly like his journey was so emotional and so amazing, and just him and Zafira, you just believe in love. The books were actually written really well as well. I am in love with Hafsah's writing. It's amazing and I'm hooked, and I'm definitely reading her new duology as well. She recently dropped a new book, A Tempest of Tea. I absolutely bought it the first thing. I am looking forward to reading that, and also like the second book in the duology. But overall, I really loved this author. Plot wise, the plot was really strong, especially in the first book. Like in the first book, I was like, oh my god, it cannot get any better than this. And I'm a bit iffy with second books, because like duologies are either a hit or miss for me. Six of Crows duology was definitely a hit, and I was hoping that it would be at that level, and it delivered, because the second book was amazing. It was like the best continuation could have ever been, and I'm really happy about it. Like, coming to like maybe a few negative things, but like there were like teeny tiny negative things in these books. Like it shouldn't make a difference really, but I kind of like cringed a bit with the usage of Arabic phrases throughout the duology. I don't know if other people felt this way, but as a native speaker of Arabic, I just couldn't take some things seriously when I read them at first, and I'm trying to be as nice as possible because, as I've said before, the writing was amazing. Maybe like for non-Arabic speakers, it wouldn't make any difference, and fair to you. I don't think you would like notice it that much because you don't speak the language, but as a person who speaks the language, it was a bit cringe. The use of the word khara was just I just did not like that at all. I could not hop on it. Like every time I saw that phrase, it would ruin the illusion for me of the books, as well as using other phrases like Sayyida and Sayyidi. The way that she placed it in the sentences, it just did not make any sense to me. But like some phrases worked, like when she used the word ruhi or habibi, they actually went well with the sentences. Some phrases just, as I said, they're like tiny, teeny details. They didn't matter, they didn't ruin the books for me. But still, I appreciate the usage of Arabic, and maybe like some people were introduced to Arabic throughout these books, which is amazing. It's a positive thing. I am really happy about that. Now, the big question is, do I recommend this duology? I definitely do recommend these books. Like if you're into fantasy and you want like an Arabian kind of flavor to it, then I definitely do recommend these books, because not only is it set obviously in an Arabian kind of setting, but there are also mythological creatures that are inspired by Arabia. And I think that you would just dive into the magic and into like the vibes of it all, because it's very, very mystical. And the love stories in this are not cliche at all. Like I actually loved it because of that as well, because of the slow burn. I've said previously that I love slow burns, and these books delivered just that. I'm definitely adding Hafsah to my favorites. I believe that she can write a fantasy tale, and yeah, these books are amazing. And yeah, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I am hoping that you're having an amazing Ramadan so far. See you in the next video. Bye.